Hola clase, ¿cómo están? Excelente! And welcome back to a brand new week of learning with Senor Cow Cow. All right, let's go ahead and get started with our warm up. Okay, clase, por favor, saquen papel y practiquen. Pause the video now. All right, conjugate the verbs ir, ser, and ver correctly in the preterite or imperfect tense. All right, here we go. We went to Disney World last year. Fuimos a Disney World el año pasado. This happened one time. Preterite. We used to go to Disney World every year. Whoops, hold on. Íbamos a Disney World todos los años. As a child, she was nice. De niña, ella era simpática, amable. Two different words, just like nice and kind. As a child, she was nice. She used to be nice. Not a moment. Número cuatro. Senor Cowart was a teacher at North Augusta High School for 11 years. Senor Cowart fue maestro en North Augusta High School por 11 años. Okay, número cinco. Did you see the school yesterday? ¿Viste la escuela ayer? Ayer, yesterday, very closed time period. Just like this one, 11 years. Did you used to see butterflies a lot? ¿Veías las mariposas mucho? Or ¿veías mucho las mariposas? And there we go. Okay, now a quick reminder that we have a test on Wednesday, and the test covers these three verbs in the preterite and imperfect, as well as all of the orthographic changes that we went over before. Okay, now I want to show you something real quick. This is Mrs. Johnson's lesson on when to use one or the other. So preterite is very simple. What happened? It can include when exactly it happened. You can say when it was completed. Things that I did once, like yesterday I went to the store or I bought a dog. And what interrupted or changed a situation, like we were watching TV when the door opened. Okay, that sort of thing. Or we were sad when he died. Something sudden interrupted. All right, so that is the predator. Those are your little lightning strikes things. You can say when it happened. You can say when it was completed. You did it once, and it could be something that interrupted something else. Okay. Okay. Now the imperfect. This could talk about what was happening. Now all this. Think about things in the background. This is like you are setting the stage. You are decorating the background, but the story is not moving forward. So let's say I'm kind of painting the picture for you on what was going on yesterday. Imagine like I have to fill out a police report and I have to describe what was going on. I would say something like, we were in the park, the kids were playing, the sun was shining, I was drawing a picture. I always used to go to the park to draw pictures. It was 5 o'clock. It was Wednesday. It was a cold day. Everything seemed fine. This is back when I was 15 years old. I was tired that day. I was in the park, again in the park. I was feeling tired. I was thinking that I should be doing something. Again, and again, this is we're just saying what was going on. Okay, we're setting the stage. It was cold. I was tired, but nothing's actually happening. We're just decorating, decorating, decorating. Okay, so just keep that in mind as kind of when to use one or the other. Like with your verb ser for the test, uh, something that is we can say when it happened and when it was completed. Like I said, it's like saying Senor Cowart was a teacher at that high school last year, or he was a student at the college for 2 years back in 1978 and 79. And these things, again, would be saying the opposite. A lot of description. For example, if I say, well, tell me about what was there. You can say, well, there was a house. The house was red. My friend was there. Um, I saw a guy who was very tall. That would be La casa era roja. Mi amigo era alto. Okay, things like that. All right, so hopefully that helps a little bit. Okay, now I'm going to go back over my presentation. Okay, and this is kind of so your test on Wednesday is going to cover ir, ser, ver in both tenses, preterite and imperfect, and it's going to cover these as well. Okay, so we have carregar sar, stem changing verbs, and yo quiero. Okay, so first is carregar sar. If a verb ends with the letters car, gar, or sar, you must change the spelling for the yo conjugation only. This is to maintain the right sound when it's written. So, car, the yo conjugation ending becomes ke, gar becomes ge, and sar becomes se. Okay, here's one conjugated out for you. Jugar. For yo, it is jugué. Everybody else is regular. Jugaste, jugó, jugamos, jugastes, jugaron, because they already go g. Jugar always has to go g. And when we change the spelling, it once again goes g. Jugué. Other examples: tocar, toqué, pagar, pagué, empezar, empecé. All right, here are some verbs that are helpful to know. Most of these you should know. There are probably a couple you have to learn, like castigar, fregar, lanzar, but a lot of these are not that bad. We've already learned abrazar. We've learned many of these already. Okay, so just have a look. There's only a couple you need to learn. So again, the ones sitting with car turn to que, these turn to que, and these turn to se. Okay, for example, yo toqué, tu tocaste, ellos tocaron. As you can see, only the yo has a spelling change. All right, stem changing verbs in the past tense. Know the three onlys. This is something you have to know for your test. Number one, only the third person singular and plural. That means the bottom two conjugations. Number two, only IR verbs do this. And number three, it's only O turns to U and E turns to I. Okay? Some verbs change their stem in the present tense, but not in the preterite tense. For example, the verb pensar. Jugar is the same way. Okay, you've got this whole pienso, piensas, piensa thing going on. And in the preterite, it's completely regular. No spelling change whatsoever. These are the three verbs that I want you to know. Pedir, to order or ask for. Preferir, to prefer. These are both E to I. And then dormir, to sleep, is O to U. And as you can see, these happen with the bottom two conjugations. Serví, serviste, sirvió. Servimos, servistes, sirvieron. Morí, moriste, murió. Morimos, moristes, murieron. The bottom two, the boot print. So here's the boot, here's the boot print. This it turns to UE, this it just turns into U. Él duerme, él durmió. Ellos duermen, oops, ellos durmieron. Okay, and then we did these examples. Okay, and finally we have a concept that we call yo yeron. If the infinitive has two vowels in a row at the end, such as leer, to read, or oír, to hear, you need to change the spelling for the L ella usted, and the ellos, ellas, ustedes conjugations in the preterite tense, which once again is the bottom two. So it goes leí, leíste, leyó, leímos, leístes, leyeron. And again, the reason we do this is to maintain the structure of the word. If you put this as IO, it'd be leo, and it's three vowels, which is not enough structure. Some verbs that do this, you need to know. To conclude, concluir, concluyó, concluyeron. To destroy, destruir, destruyó, destruyeron. To believe, creer, creyó, creyeron. To read is leer, leyó, leyeron. And to hear is oír, oyó, oyeron. Okay, and then we did examples. Okay, and the last thing is the word averiguar, to discover or figure out. Averiguar always has to make the sound gua. If you write, like the other Kargarzars, yo averigué, then it makes the sound ge. So to keep the gua sound, you have to write it like this, averigüe. Now it is pronounced averigüe. Averiguar, averigüe. That makes it go gua. Some other words that use this are pingüino, penguin, bilingüe, bilingual, vergüenza, embarrassment, and this instrument is called a guiro. And there we have it. Okay, now in class, I am going to give you a worksheet, okay? And this is going to be your last thing for today for my at-home folks. One other little assignment is to write a sentence with each one of these concepts. Like I played the guitar, they slept at my house, he read the book. So that's just a very small side assignment. And again, you don't have to do that as long as you complete your worksheet. So here's the worksheet, and this is on Google Classroom, like everything. So you have a section for cargar sar, stem changing verbs, and yo oyeron. For each one, you either have to answer this question with a verb, or you have to translate the sentence. All right. So it'll probably take you a little while. I'm not trying to take up your whole day. But I'm telling you, as always, if you do the practice, if you spend time with the verbs, study them, practice with them, you will thank yourself when you get that test. And it's like, oh, thank goodness I practiced this verb, and now I know how to say to order. Okay. It's much better than leaving a blank or cheating. Okay. So for my at home folks, I'm going to leave it there for now. And let me jump back to myself here. My advice to you is get your worksheet done. I will go over it tomorrow, and I want you to study, 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 practice up, and let's knock this quiz out on Wednesday and do well. Okay? All right. I will talk to you soon. Adios.